Hey everybody, how you doing? John Longstreth here. Origin, Hate Eternal, Neurectomy, Malefic Throne. List goes on and on. Wanted to sit for a few minutes and explain how the feet work. You know, what's going on in these songs here that you've listened to or are about to listen to. It's really just, it's 16th notes and 32nd notes. And kind of, it's three things really. And it all kind of lives on just 16th note grid. And so you've seen it 100 times before. One iana, two iana. So that's the basic foot technique that you'll see in a lot of things like a 2-foot blast, for instance. You'll also see this figure in a lot of linear tom, snare, kick fills. Together. And that basically turns into a two-handed 2-foot blast, I guess you would say. So you're looking at the differences between and this 2-foot blast, or Euro blast as they would call it, is one of the things I really like to use a lot for what I would call limb alignment exercises. This allows me to make sure that my spaces between my snare, tom, kicks are all nice and even, and it's how you mold those spaces. They tell you it's not the notes you play, but the notes that you don't play, and so we're focusing on those notes that you don't play. It's like that would be the 1-foot variation that we're going to move on to next. Doesn't sound much different, but we're going to basically play these 16th notes with 1 foot. And this is done really by almost a basketball bouncing type motion. All I'm doing is sending the pedal down, and I'm using the spring tension and the swing of the beater to come back at me. And it's all ankle. I have a little bit of tension underneath my thigh, and I can feel it mostly in the back of my, in my calf, the back of my shin. If I'm feeling it in the knee, or if I'm feeling it in the shin, I'm doing it wrong, and I have to adjust. So a lot of times I'll come into a beat like this, and it'll feel real stiff, and I'll have to physically kind of almost lean back. A lot of times I can turn my heel out to the right a little bit and almost lean in towards the knee, and it kind of takes the pressure off. That might sound counterintuitive, but it's just the way that I sit. So you'll see a lot of this. And it is similar to what we would call swivel, which is not something I'm very known for, but every now and then it does happen. And what the swivel thing allows you to do is, instead of up and down motion, your left and right motion. To develop that, put the beater to the head. And if you notice, as you move your foot to the right and the left, a little bit of pressure has to come up to get your ankle out to the right or your ankle to the left. And you're going to see a tiny little skip in the bass drum beater come off the head. And that is what you're harnessing. That's what you're developing. Important thing with swivel, loose hip. You want to be able to move your whole thigh. Don't lock your hip and start cranking swivels all the way out to the far right and far left. You'll hurt your knee. Now going back to the 2-foot blast thing, the 16th note alternating, it's the thing that everybody asks me about. And no, I cannot tell you how to adjust the kick drum and the triggers for double strokes. I will not, because that question means you're not playing proper double strokes, or you're playing a closed roll as compared to an open roll. Closed roll. I suck at it. Open roll. I'm okay at it. Better at it with my feet. That comes. Very simple exercise. It's called dropping a double. It's unfortunate. Sorry. Watch. Watch. You're really just replacing a single note with a double. And it originally comes from heel toe, like so. As I developed it, and I wanted a smaller motion, this is too big of a motion for me. This is too much. So I come back down the back of the pedal, flat down, pivot. Flat down, pivot. Flat down, pivot. Flam, rest. Flam, rest. I'm just kidding. And it's about as slow and big of a motion it would ever be. So this is one of those things where you have to work on it slowly. And I do recommend that you start up here and you do develop proper heel-toe double bass. I have a size 10, that's what my shoe, and my foot is kind of up in the drive strap for this, but I'm able to get a good, solid heel stroke out of it. Developing that, you're developing all your big motions, all of the real big swing on it. And as you get better at that, you can kind of creep down a little bit, make the motion a little bit smaller, and it starts becoming more about the pedal. Quick little cheat, play a kick drum shuffle and drop doubles into it. Swiss triplets. A note on developing any of this technique into what would appear to be effortless speed, because it's never quite effortless. It is a labor of love, it is quite difficult, but at the same time, it's also easy, on the same token. Really, just like you would develop your hands. And you're just going to do that slowly. You're going to do that for 20 minutes, and then you're going to stop. And then you're going to do something, you're going to come back, you're going to do it for another 20 minutes, and you're going to stop. And I strongly suggest that you have a second thing that you want to work on. If you want to focus on your double strokes, then you focus on your double strokes and you break off and you work on something else. Clear your mind of it. What you're trying to do is enforce memory retention. You can sit here and practice double strokes at 250 for 3 hours straight, and you'll develop, all the endurance in the world, and there's a place for that. But there is this simple start and stop function, which is going to allow your brain, which is going to allow you to think from here or think from your ankle rather than think from your head. And like I said, slow and steady wins the race. Every day, 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off, 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off. Stop, do something else. Practice makes permanent. Don't teach yourself bad stuff. And just take your time developing it, and you won't develop my double bass technique, but you'll develop your own double bass technique, and you'll have your own thing to it. Happy practicing.